Hey everyone, it's Sarah. Welcome back to Never Out of Books. Today I'm going to do one of the video prompts for the strikebackvathon, which is being hosted by some lovely people in response to Booktube's new monetization policy. I am too small of a Booktube channel by far to even ever qualify at these points for monetization. But I do totally appreciate all the new subscribers I'm getting, because maybe someday, and I love the support, and I love comments, and I love all of that. So I guess I feel really bad for the people who are losing their monetization because of these. I just have never had it to begin with. But I am on board with this. I'm going to go through some of the favorite books that I've read because of Booktube. I actually started on Booktube because I didn't know what to read. I started watching Booktube about 2 or 3 years before actually joining myself. I have 3 adult books and 4 young adult books because Booktube really has gotten me into young adult reading, because the first Booktubers I watched were more young adult Booktubers, and I really do enjoy young adult books. So I will get to those first. The first book, and is actually a whole series, is Geek Girl by Holly Smale. I read this because of, I think they're heartful of books. They're twins and they're absolutely freaking adorable. Read this book and it sounded right up my alley. This is about Harriet Manners, the whole series is, and she somehow becomes a model. And she is a hot mess, okay? She is a nerd and she comes out with facts and she's very self-centered and doesn't even really realize it, and the things that happen to her are just a riot, and it is a completed series now of 5 or 6 books, I believe, and I loved every single one of them. And because it is a book from England, I might not have found it otherwise. I had to get them all off Book Depository. The second one is the Remnant Chronicles series. This is the first one, The Kiss of Deception. This one I got on the hype train for it and was really glad to. I really liked this world. I really liked this protagonist. I liked the story. I liked the whole thing. This one, first one in particular, was amazing because she's a princess. She's running away from an arranged marriage, and the prince she's supposed to marry and an assassin both come after her, and you do not know who is who. And it did wrap up all very nicely. I liked it. I wish I had marathon read them. This is one of the series that I would like to reread at some point in the future when my TBR isn't so off the charts. The next is also a series, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I had no intention of reading this series, ever. And then I got sent the second book in a book box, which was very badly done. And then I still like hemmed and hawed and like was like, oh my goodness. And then I read this one and I was like, okay, I kind of get it. And then I read the second one and it's all over now. This might be one of my favorite series. This is, I say it's young adult, but it's really new adult. There's a lot of sex, and yeah, a lot of sexy times in this, like more than I would like a young adult book. So, but love the series. This was really great one. And also, this is another series, the Cinder, Cress, Scarlet, Winter. I think I did those out of order. But the Lunar Chronicles series, I had heard of it before, but it wasn't until I saw some reviews that I said, you know, I probably could get behind this. And I love this series. I really love it. As you can see, I've kept it. And I want my daughter to read it, and I love it. It was just so much fun. My favorite is not Cinder. I like Cress, which I know is a very strange choice. Most people don't like Cress's book as much. I loved it. It reminded me of, like, I get so many Star Wars vibes from it, so like, I love it because I love Star Wars. Now, some of the adult books. I read A Man Called Ova? I'm not really sure how to say his name, by Frederick Bachman. This is possibly my favorite book of 2017. I saw some people reading and reviewing it, and I picked it up and finally read it, and it was absolutely fantastic. And so was this next one, which I also read this year, I think. I think I read this year. Okay, scratch that. I might not have read this year, but The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. Holy crap, this book. I would never have found this book if it weren't for Booktube. And so many people talking about it. And then you get nervous, because then it's like the hype train. So, you know, you wait for that to die down a little bit. Guys, this book is absolutely fantastic. If you like characters and cultures and, like, this is the book for you. Like, you need to read this book. And then I have Booktube to thank for introducing me to Tana French. I've only read this book so far, Broken Harbor, but this was a 5-star read for me. I just loved the writing. I loved the mystery, the suspense, like the whole thing was just so good. I really would like to get to the other books in the Dublin Murder Squad series this year. Only because of Booktube that I have read most of these books. So I am very grateful to everyone who reads and reviews books, especially books that are different as well. I really love seeing everyone's interesting reads that aren't always the hyped books. I've loved finding some more adult readers who read tons of genres, and I really love watching people who read books that I don't read, which is weird. I know most people tend to gravitate toward booktubers who read the same books as them, but I get so much pleasure from watching people who read thrillers, because I don't read a lot of that, if any at all, and science fiction and fantasy, who really read some things that I would never have even knew existed. So Booktube has totally broadened my horizons when it comes to reading, even if it's not something that I like to read or want to read, and I'm very, very, very grateful for this community. So I hope you are all reading something wonderful, and I really can't wait to watch everyone's videos. So I will talk to you later. Bye.